All I wanted from you was, what can I gain in marriage that I can't gain outside of marriage? So say I'm in a relationship, I've been with this woman for 5, 10, 15 odd years, we live together, we have children.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to figure out, in 2021, and let's say someone who's not in the faith, the reason why I use those two things, because
if you're not in the faith, I don't think there's any reason to get married.
That's
if you're not in the, let me be honest with you, I've had it many times to think about it. It's based on the current situation we have.
My guy, Ola, you know.
There's no reason to get married. No, but here's what I mean.
Yes, look at the footwork.
Here's what I mean. If we did marriage properly, how I believe it should be done, then I'd say, bro, it's very, very important. It's very, very important for our society. It's the fundamental building block to build a family, build it around a marriage. It's the best way to keep the stability and grow from there. But what we've turned this into, in this current situation, where sex is freely available.
But it's always been freely available.
Bro?
This isn't a new thing. Sex has always been freely available.
Bro, I don't know about freely.
Okay.
I don't know about freely, bro.
Okay, remember,
there's always a price to pay.
There's always a black market for everything. And remember, prostitution is the biggest
biggest
form of commerce ever.
Yes.
So let's not act like sex wasn't around.
Yeah, but what I'm saying to you is, now it's outsourced. Everyone is doing self-service prostitution now. So I'm telling you that it's not even a case of they're a specialist. You have to go to a dark alley.
You want cancellation in it? You want to be cancelled in it?
Look at me in the eye. There is self-service prostitution. It's been outsourced. It's not a case
lovely.
If you put a smartphone in everyone's hands, everyone feels like a photographer, right? We don't need to get the guy with the big lens anymore. But what I'm saying to you is,
it's taking shots at you, by the way.
If I give you OnlyFans and Tinder and all these different, and then give you sexual revolution, you will do the job for me. Like we don't need necessarily prostitutes anymore. I mean, go to Nigeria. Look at the culture that people have around casual sex. It's very much transactional. It's very much a case of, you'll give me transport money.
But it's always been that.
I'm saying to you, it's to the point where you are better off approaching one girl coming out of uni than you are trying to go down to Island Avenue and look for one of the girls in the short skirts. I'm saying that it's everywhere now. It's open source. That's what I'm saying to you right now. I
get what you mean,
but these are the same. If a woman's a prostitute, there's no expectation. She's for the streets. There was that expectation, understanding. She wears the scarlet cloth. She's over that side. But now we have women who want to live that lifestyle and then build a family around it. There are problems that come with this.
All right,
and that's why I'm saying in this situation it doesn't make any sense.
Okay, the only reason why I think I disagree with you slightly is that sex has always been readily available, in my opinion. The only difference now that we found in this area is that there's no longer a stigma attached to being maybe a single mum or being a bastard. Back in the day, if you had a child which was illegitimate outside of wedlock, he was called a bastard, and it was a huge stigma which nobody wanted. Now we almost herald people for doing it by themselves. And once again, it's not always a woman's fault. The situations where men decide they don't want to take part in a situation, so it's not always a woman's fault. So let's just put that out there.
Yeah.
But my question in this scenario where you said that, for instance, you know, if you're not religious or follow any form of dogma, that technically it's not for you. And I personally would agree that in this
based on this current setup,
in this current situation we're in now, I don't see how it benefits a man. But I think one of the key things is the discipline and the stability that I've seen the friends that I have who are married.
Yes.
And that's one thing I always say, that I've got a friend called Prince who I always talk highly of. Been married for years. And there's a calm which he has and a stability which I respect in him. Not saying he wouldn't have had that outside of marriage, but I see it within marriage, and I see his family.
Yes.
And even me being a bachelor and single man, there's a slight part of me which I look at that and I kind of just like, right, this must be nice. You know, goes home to these wives. Obviously, I don't know what their ins and outs are in the household, because everyone has their bits and pieces. Do you know what I mean? But you mentioned something to do with prostitution, and I say, is the exchange of money and sex has always been around. Okay, I think we just call it modern day prostitution, and I know it sounds a bit toxic when we use the word prostitution, because sometimes people take offense. Men prostitute themselves as well. It's not just women who do it, but. Would you go as far as saying that the exchange of sexual gratification for monetary value is wrong?
I'm saying no.
Don't do left and right. Don't do left and right.
No.
I'm asking you straight. Don't do left and right.
I genuinely believe it's only for marriage.
Sex.
Yes. So anything outside of that. Even if there's no money involved and it's just a case of I feel like feeling good, can you come over here and satisfy my sexual needs? I don't think that's what we should be doing either.
Okay, can we take your religious hat away for 1 second? So I know it's hard, but take it away for 1 second.
But you're doing too many modifiers to try and get to where you want to get to.
No, I'm not. No. What I want you to do, I just want you to take your religious hat off for 1 second.
Yeah.
Because you got to remember, primarily, obviously, we all wear different hats. So you're all of the friend, you're all of the brother, you're all of the husband, you're all of the Christian.
Yeah.
But I'm taking that hat off. What would, in regards to sexual intercourse, what would you say that is? What are the detrimental parts of having sexual intercourse with somebody outside of marriage? Because you said it should be for marriage, which I'm not going to disagree with you because that's your faith.
Yes.
And everyone should always respect.
Wait.
Yeah.
All right, if we went back, let's say like 400 or 500 years, yeah. Your great granddad, your great, whatever he was, yeah, I'm assuming he probably had like 50, 60 kids.
Okay.
More than likely.
Yeah, more than likely. You wouldn't exist. You wouldn't exist if it wasn't for him, yeah.
Yeah.
So fast forward to now, yeah. If let's say we lived our lives the same and we didn't know, would you still have these views?
Bro, I 100% believe this. 100%. It's not.
Sex should only be in marriage.
Yes.
No,
That's
but
what
I'm saying
it should
if we
be,
still lived
yes.
our lives, let's say slavery and all of that didn't happen.
Yeah.
And we fast forward to the day and we're just like us three here. Would you still have these views?
Yeah, I
Let's say
genuinely.
like Christianity came, but it didn't really reach to us like that.
Yeah, bro, I genuinely believe, right? Because you have to also understand, even in a lot of these polygamous cultures, there was still an expectation that if you're gonna be sleeping with this woman and having kids with her, you should marry her. So what I've always said is, I believe personally that your level of intimacy should match your level of commitment. If you're way more intimate than you are committed, then someone's gonna get hurt at some point. And if you're way committed than you are intimate, then obviously you're in a problematic relationship here because there's no intimacy.
Yeah.
But when it matches, what I'm saying is, if let's say, for example, the outcomes of sex had no impact on us as human beings, there was no impact. It was literally like shaking hands, right? Then you wouldn't need to be that committed to somebody to shake hands with them. I can do that with a stranger I just met.
Yeah.
But we do know sex has very real consequences for us as not just as individuals, but for society.
Do you think in marriage, regular sex is very important?
100%.
Yeah.
100%. 100%. I mean, when a husband starts emphasizing it
It's
like
not
that,
rubbing his hands, you know. Money rub. He said,
Hey, basically, indirectly he's telling us he clapped cheeks this morning, you know?
last night, but like, relax.
Hey!
Last night, but relax.
Hey, it must be nice.
No, but that's what it
You
should
see,
be.
us two, we've been virginal men. We've been on
But
our
do you know
sabbatical.
also one of the reasons why your guy is probably very calm is because when he has sex, and I'm assuming that he's only has sex with his wife. When he has sex with his wife, he comes to a place in which he can be openly vulnerable and express himself sexually and express himself emotionally or whatever else it is that goes on in their bedroom. And what he isn't doing is committing resources, time and effort to trying to secure that elsewhere. So what now, if you're having sex at home with your wife and so on, all those resources that you would have put towards like trying to move to girls and so on, where does that go now? It goes towards building things that are way more edifying to you.
but can't I get this in a relationship, everything you just mentioned, without having to be married?
Well, there's going to be a fundamental difference, which is that when you walk away from a relationship, right, there's way more incentive for you to leave when it no longer serves you because you're not committed.
And this is the not issue, but this is the elephant in the room when it comes to marriage, is the fact that yes, you're right.
Yeah.
It's more of a commitment because of the paper, and more commitment of the fact that you're husband and wife. So people, there's more of a stigma when you're a divorcee than saying you broke up from a relationship. Like I've met a woman before who was talking. She was like, "Oh yeah, you know what? I've been divorced before." I know you're like,
whoa, you signed papers.
Whoa, like you're divorced. It's
You
almost
went to court.
it's almost
Whoa.
like, wait, some man spent all this money to marry you and decided that he no longer wants to be here.
Yeah.
Or maybe you decided because you check the stats. Women file for divorce more than men do.
Of course they
Like,
do, yeah.
but I say, what is it that I can't get in a relationship that I can't get in marriage? Like, what am I losing out on? Because in the day,
Yeah.
I can still be committed. And this is the problem I have with what you said.
Yeah.
A lot of people are stuck in marriages
Yeah.
because of the headache and the stigma. In the same way some of us stay in workplaces and jobs until we found another one. And you mentioned that commitment part.
Yeah.
And I wonder how many people who are married now, who are in the situation, who want to leave, but the stigma of being a divorcee, they stay in. The stigma of actually the headache, because I've got a friend who's going through a divorce now.
Yeah.
And it's not easy. It's not just a case of where you just go on the internet, go onto HMRC, gov.uk and say, "Oh, I'd like to divorce her." It's not as simple as that.